Welcome everyone to Crazy Games Horror-A-Thon, where we tackle one horror movie franchise throughout the month of October.
This is just a dream. This isn't real. This is just a dream. He isn't real. He isn't real.
Back in the 80s, everyone knows about Freddy Krueger, a child murderer who was burned to death and comes back into your dreams. I know about him before I saw the movies. I know about the sweater, the glove, the hat, and he is a wisecracking murderer. Well, we all know the concept of the movie. Those of you who don't know, I'll give you this skinny. Freddy enters in your dreams, and if you die in the dream, you die in real life. That's extremely different from any movie I've seen in the slasher genre. Speaking of which, most of the slasher villains I've seen always wears a mask. But Freddy is way different. He has a face, a voice, and a witty personality. So for the teenagers, we have Nancy, Tina, Rod, and Glenn. And of course, yes, Glenn is played by Johnny Depp. It's really ironic that the filmmakers were working with one of the best actors of the generation. Well, Depp was new at the time, so he's one of the weaker characters. He didn't mature yet to the greatest actor we all know.
I like to dress in women's clothing.
Okay, that was a bad example, but you do get my point. In this movie, we only have 4 teenagers, which in later films they have a lot more. I guess they want to set up more bodies for Freddy to kill off. Tina was set up right in the beginning to be the film's main lead, but 18 minutes in she got axed off, so now Nancy is the main lead. Heather Langenkamp is pretty believable in her role, and like Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, Langenkamp got the nickname Scream Queen because of this film. To avoid being attacked by Freddy, she must stay awake. She spent the majority of the film drinking coffee and taking pills. Then there's Rod. He gets blamed for Tina's death and now he was arrested. His death scene was freaking creative. Nowadays, that blanket would be all CGI, but things would look way better if it was used with practical effects. The movie was directed by Wes Craven, and he knows how to settle his female leads in his movies. The father doesn't believe Nancy until the final act, which really settles this movie. With these 80s horror movies, you must have one good veteran actor. For Halloween, we have Donald Pleasence. For Friday the 13th, we have Betsy Palmer. And here, we got John Saxon. He is really believable in his role. Whenever he doesn't believe his own daughter, I always get pissed off because of that shit. Nancy's plan is to set up traps around the house and pull Freddy out of the dream world so he can be vulnerable to the traps. Now, this is an elaborate plan. Another movie I've seen done like this was Home Alone. The ending is different than what Wes Craven had originally planned. There was originally supposed to be a bus driving by setting up the next film. But instead, we got this. In this ending, we have the teens getting into the car, but then the top comes up with red and green stripes like they're under Freddy's control. And then the mother gets pulled right through the door. I love that part. I always hated the mother for being such a bitch. Wes Craven hated the change of the ending, but it happened and the Nightmare On Elm Street saga has begun. Freddy himself is played by Robert Englund. He continued his role of Freddy from the original up to Freddy vs. Jason, along with the TV series Freddy's Nightmares. In the first movie, he played it for seriousness, but he does joke a bit. The dream scenes in this movie, they go a little simple. From a boiler room into a front lawn and to a prison, it's simple. Also, sometimes locations get switched around because it's a dream world, anything can happen. It wasn't until the later films when they used bigger sets for the dream scenes where it gets distracted and overboard. Freddy also comes up with some more gags to make it for the horror comedy bullshit that's going around. And no matter, there is a better one. But don't worry, we'll get to that part soon enough. We just scraped the surface of this first film.